There we go. The music fades, and that's our cue to start talking. I'm Dan Vespers. Welcome to Snack Size DFS. But as always, I'm only here to introduce the program from my good friend Brenton Eckersley, who's going to be busting down the doors to bring you some DFS winnings here on this show in a nice snack size digestible packet of about 20 minutes or so. This show is brought to you by our friends at Bet Online, the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for all things sports betting. Final Four is upon us, and Bet Online has more ways to stay in on the action with the latest odds, news, and scores, and even live in-game betting while the games are happening in front of your eyes. Bet Online has the largest selection of odds on everything from college basketball to the NFL, MLB, NHL, and UFC. You've even got Kentucky Derby, NFL season futures. That's all ready for you to bet right now. And in between games, roll on down to the Bet Online casino with all the top Vegas-style games, including poker and live casino games. Bet Online, the game starts here. The show starts here. Brenton, have at it, my man.
What is up, sexy snack size DFS followers? Welcome to another edition of Snack Size DFS. This is your... What day is it today, Brenton? It is Thursday, April the 3rd, 2025. Thanks, Dan Vespers, as always, for the intro. We will see you at the end of the show. Snack Size DFS, guys, welcome back again. We are getting close to the end of the regular season. Just to let you know, I'm probably going to wrap up around the end of regular season. Playoffs become quite difficult to manage for DFS, and also a lot of the playoff days have low games. Therefore, they're a lot of those captain. I can't remember what DK calls them, but they're not the classic format which I play. So it would be pointless me being here for those captain flex games. I just don't play them enough to be able to help you guys with them. So I reckon we've got about another week of snack size. Thank you for your support all season long. It's been an absolute pleasure to be here working with the Old Man Squad and being here with you guys. The support's been phenomenal. Please continue to like and subscribe and drop those YouTube comments. Very important, of course, and I love to see all your feedback also. Okay, so April the 3rd, we have 6 games on, all 6 games in the DK card here. Let's jump into some game notes here. I'll make that a little bit bigger so I can see it. Game pace notes. So the fast ones of the day are going to be Memphis and Miami, and also the Golden State taking on the Lakers game in the last game of the day, a bit of a marquee matchup there. And both of those games are only topping out at about 228 and 231 at the moment. So we do have quite a few slower games on this card, hence the top pace games only being around that 230 game total. The slow games, Orlando versus Washington and Minnesota taking on Brooklyn, both of those way down in the teens, so ones to avoid if you're making any last-minute decisions between players. Attack and stack, we have Orlando taking on the Washington Wizards, and we also have Milwaukee taking on Philadelphia. Both Washington and Philadelphia giving up fantasy points. To the other side of the ball, the pace bumps of the day, Miami taking on Memphis. Memphis, the quickest team in the league. Still big pace bump there for Miami, and Orlando taking on Washington. That is a huge, huge pace bump from the bottom of the table pace-wise all the way to the top of the table for Orlando. Let's jump into that game, shall we? It's the first one listed on the DK slate, Orlando taking on Washington. As I mentioned, it will be a slow one, around the mid-teens game total here. For Orlando, we have nothing really on the injury report as well. Just something to note, though. All 3 games versus Washington were 20 to 30 point blowouts. It's something to take into consideration. Yes, they get a pace bump here, but I am still going to just walk away from the 2 higher price guys in Paolo and Franz. I think both of them are appropriately priced here. I am also worried about that potential 4th blowout. The guys I have here for you for Orlando are mid-price guys. Wendell Carter Jr., I really like, though, at 5,100. He's had 28 and 38 DK points versus Washington. His minutes have absolutely taken over, whereas it used to be a fairly contentious split between himself and Goga Bitadze. Wendell's getting the bulk of those minutes. 5,100. We can also attack Washington at the center spot. So good spot here for Wendell. Cole Anthony back for one game. Returned from injury. I believe he's played one game, 5,400. He had 19 minutes only in his return, but he did put up 27 DK points in his comeback game. He will be the first to sit in a blowout. Just be aware of that. It's definitely worth mentioning, only 19 minutes in his return. If this turns into a blowout, then Anthony will be the first one to the bench. However, we have to look at Washington at point guard. Cole Anthony in a prime spot. He's kind of a, if you land here, play for me rather than trying to slot him into my lineups at all costs. Goga Bitadze, this is more of a bit of a blowout play, I guess. I don't tend to play blowout plays specifically or intentionally, but at 3,600, I don't think he burns you, even if this game is not a blowout. He's had 33 DK points twice versus the Wizards, and once again it's that rotation versus the bigs at Washington. Yes, he could get more run in a blowout, so I don't mind this spot. If you have to find someone at the center spot or one of your utility spots at 3,600, Goga is an okay price. Washington back the other way. It's a back-to-back for Washington. Thankfully, we don't have too many back-to-backs on this card. And I think the remaining ones are all Thursday, Friday back-to-backs, which make things easier. But for Washington, they are playing today. At the time of recording, Colby Jones, Keyshawn George, Marcus Smart, Chris Middleton all ruled out for the Wednesday. So that means we obviously have to keep an eye on the news for the Thursday. At the moment, Jordan Poole is in on the Wednesday. Does he play on the Thursday? Debatable. Does he play high minutes on either game? Also debatable, but at 6,200, look, he had a 51 DK point outing in his last one versus Miami. That's, like I've listed there, a bit of an outburst. He has been playing low minutes. They've just been holding minutes down for Paul and other guys in the last couple of weeks. I would be keeping an eye on the Wednesday minutes. He did play 29 in the last game for that outburst of 51 DK points. So watch the Wednesday minutes. I am dubious of this, both because it's a back-to-back and also because it's Jordan Poole and they're just keeping those minutes low. Doesn't make my favorite plays. Have to be, I think he has to be mentioned at that price at 6,200 though. Bub Carrington, I believe he was also ruled out just before recording here. If he comes in on the Thursday, 5,500, he has had a $500 price jump after putting up 37 DK points versus the Miami Heat. Field goal percentage is the thing with Carrington, right? So if you can hit some shots, get up double-digit field goal attempts, then 5,500 should not be an issue. I would be definitely looking at him here if he's in, obviously, and also if Jordan Poole is ruled out on that back-to-back. Colby Jones, I listed him down there as questionable on the Wednesday. He was ruled out just before recording. 3,900 is a pinata play here for Colby Jones. His minutes have been nice, 27, 28, 30, and 29 minutes in the last four. Yo-yo scoring, 13, 18, but the last two, 24 and 34 DK points is enough for me to have stabs at Colby Jones here if he does play on the Thursday. Watch the ins and the outs. If Poole doesn't play, even better. And yeah, just watch some of the guys in those wing positions before making decisions on Colby Jones. Let's move on to the second game. It's the Bucks taking on the terrible 76ers. Just notes on the 76ers, there was some rumor mill stuff going on that Oubre and Maxey may be back soon. I don't know why the 76ers would do that. Their season is done, but maybe they just want to save face with the NBA a little bit. I don't know, while other teams are just ruling guys out for the season. Look, things will change if Oubre or Maxey come in here, but I don't expect either guys to play. So the real guy here is Yabusele is questionable for the 76ers, and for Milwaukee, Giannis is questionable, but I expect him to play here. And AJ Green, it's not a back-to-back. That's why I expect Giannis to play. And AJ Green is also questionable for Milwaukee. Let's talk about the Bucks. Giannis himself at 12-1. He's had 55 and 63 DK points versus Philly. He is capable of anything, but Philly would need to keep this close. Is that possible now that there's no Dame Lillard? Yeah, sure, it's possible, but it's a bit of a stretch for me. And we have some similarly priced guys coming up later that I definitely am more interested in. Kyle Kuzma, this is basically a play for me only if Giannis sits. The upside is fairly low. Otherwise, if Giannis can't go, then Kuzma's going to get as many shot attempts as he can take with no Dame Lillard there as well. And that would be a nice play if I do it every time. If I think about it, I can't say it. I'm just going to go with Giannis this time. If Giannis can't play, 6,200 for Kuzma is a great price. Trent Jr. 4,500 and Taurean Prince at 3,800 would be your stabs in the dark if Giannis can't go. Brook Lopez is a bit of a constant here, though. At 6K, this is a great spot versus Philly at the center position. 30, and 39 DK points versus Philly previously in the season, and now they are just terrible at that center spot. Just a note, Ryan Rollins, 4,700, had a big DK outing in the last one, had to shoot 80% to get there. Yes, we know that Dame is out, but I believe that the upside is fairly limited for Rollins no matter what. So keep an eye on things like that. Yeah, he had 42 DK breakout game, had to shoot 80% to get there. Let's look at Philly. Adem Bona, 5,200 is probably my favorite play here for the Philly side of the ball. 30, 27, and 32 minutes in his last three for 38, 33, and 30 DK points. So it seems that price is a little low with some meat on the bone there. Just remember, I believe that Gershon Yabusele was out of those two, out of two of those three games. If Yabusele plays here, it does cap some minutes and upside for Bona. Quentin Grimes, 9,100. It's right around value. The reason that I am listing him here, it's around value based on his previous outputs. We know that Quentin Grimes can go absolutely tropical bananas for 55 to 60 DK points on his night. This could be one of those nights. Look, again, we do have some similarly priced guards coming up later. If you want to be contrarian and play your GPP lineup with Quentin Grimes, I couldn't fault you for it. Last guy for the Sixers, just want to quickly touch on Lonnie Walker. 4,700, 36 and 33 minutes in his last two games for 37 and 25 DK points. It's a decent spot versus the Bucks guards. 4,700 would be a pinata play for Lonnie Walker. The second? Is he the third? I can't remember. Let's move on to the third game. Minnesota taking on Brooklyn. This is slated to be one of the slow ones of the day for the Minnesota Timberwolves. We have DiVincenzo and Reed back in. So the only guy ruled out at the moment is Shannon Jr. for the Timberwolves. I'm going to pass on Anthony Edwards here. I just don't like the pricing for him in a slowdown matchup. Two guys I am interested in, though, below Anthony Edwards' price tag are Julius Randle at 7,800. He is cooking at the moment, 49, 45, 49 DK points, and we can definitely attack the Brooklyn Bigs. As I mentioned there, Anthony Edwards, 9,800. Look, he is obviously capable of big scores. I don't trust that price based on recent history and in a slowdown matchup. Rudy Gobert, though, 6,800. This is a great spot versus Brooklyn centers. It's a high price for Rudy Gobert for sure, but he has been paying off in these spots where the opposing center position gives up plenty of fantasy points. Rudy Gobert has been taking advantage of those spots. So I don't mind this at 6,800. Nickeil Alexander-Walker, look, for me, he had a massive game in the last one. That was the Denver double overtime game. So keep that in mind first of all. He played 45 minutes and had 52 DK points in a double OT game. That's a big time pinata / chase for me. 3,900. Sure, chase the hot shooting if you like to do it. It's not something that I do very often, but that price is fairly hard to ignore coming off the back of 52 DK points. He is a land there if you need to play for me. On the net side of the ball, D'Angelo Russell, probable. We have Jalen Wilson, questionable. Cam Johnson and Zaire Williams and Noah Clowney, all ruled out. Three guys here. Look, it's as usual, very difficult to work out which guy from the Nets is going to cook here. I will leave Keon Johnson alone with Russell probable. The three guys I'm interested in here, Keldon Johnson at 5,300, Tyrese Martin at 4,600, Jalen Wilson at 3,700. Let's quickly break it down. Johnson and Keldon Johnson, Tyrese Martin are simple injury replacements for me with no Cam Johnson, no Zaire Williams, no Noah Clowney. Both of these guys should get 30 minutes and are capable of 30 to 35 DK points. Keldon Johnson would have probably more upside than Tyrese Martin, I believe. But I do like Tyrese Martin here at that cheaper price, and also the fact that we can absolutely attack the Timberwolves at the small forward position at the moment. So Keldon Johnson, if you're playing cash, Tyrese Martin is a bit of a GPP play. And then down the bottom, Jalen Wilson, who is questionable himself, 3,700. His minutes have been mid to high 20s in his last 4 games. We do have outs here, Johnson, Williams, and Clowney, so he should continue to get some decent minutes. He is a bit of a pinata guy, another guy you can land on at that low price if you need to get to 8 to 10 DK, 8 to 10 times scoring. He could be that guy. Let's move on. Portland taking on the Toronto Raptors in Toronto. It's a back-to-back for both teams. Both teams on the Thursday, Friday back-to-back. Makes it a little bit easier to judge. Let's dive into Portland. Anthony Simons questionable. Scoot Henderson has already been ruled out for this one. So what we have here is two guys who are absolutely cooking for the Portland Trail Blazers right now. Denny Avdia, 8,600. Shaden Sharp, 7,100. It's a little bit of floor versus ceiling here at those prices. The Avdia floor is rock solid at the moment, 8,600. He has had a 1K price jump in his last 2 games, but that is to catch up with some huge DK scoring from Denny, 53 and 72 versus New York and Atlanta. The nice thing to note there for Denny Avdia, 20-plus shot attempts in his last 3 or 4 games with all kinds of usage going his way. Would love to see Simons out here before locking in Avdia, but he definitely probably. Let's go with he probably won't burn you at 8,600. Shaden Sharp, 7,100, a little bit more pinata kind of play. He's been getting it done lately as well, though. His minutes are very high, 38 to 40 minutes in his last 4. It's hard to deny coming off the back of 41 and 56 DK points versus the same teams, New York and Atlanta. We know that Scoot is out. If Simons goes out as well, you could play both of these guys, Avdia and Sharp. For me, it's floor with Avdia, ceiling with Sharp, less safe floor. And the last guy to mention here with Portland is Donovan Clingan at 5,500. He is your pinata play for the Blazers. 32, 18, 33, and 29 minutes in his last 4. So let's go through that again. 32, 18, 33, and 29 minutes. But listen to the scoring. DK points, 46, 9, 18 and 25 DK points. So we can attack Toronto at center, especially now that we know Jakob Poeltl is out. So it is a pinata play for Clingan at 5,500. And the last guy to mention here, Delano Banton, 4,300. If we have no Simons, we already know that Scoot is ruled out. He had 35 DK points with both of those guys out last time. So definitely worth mentioning Delano Banton if Anthony Simons can't go here. Let's go into Toronto. As mentioned, Thursday and Friday back-to-back, coming into the back-to-back on this one. On the injury report, it's Ochai Agbaji and RJ Barrett have been ruled in. Scotty Barnes, Jared Rhoden, questionable. Jakob Poeltl, Emmanuel quickly out. So it is a case of a couple of mid-price guys here. Again, mid to low-price guys. I don't mind looking at RJ Barrett here at 7,800, but that would only be if Barnes is out. Jamal Shed, 4,500. He is a bit of a low-end spot filler. He's one of these guys who you can plug and play if you're looking for a particular guy at a particular price at a particular position. Fairly low upside, decent floor. I don't mind this. play if you just need to land there. Jacoby Walter is more of your lower floor, higher upside, risky play, 4,200. He has had 30 plus minutes in 3 of the last 4. Would love this if Barnes is out just for the usage scenario. He's coming off 42 and 31 DK points in the last 2. Just keep in mind that Jacoby Walter is very shot dependent, field goal percentage dependent, doesn't do a whole lot in peripheral stats, but you can definitely have a look at him here. Memphis taking on Miami. In Miami, this will be one of the fast games of the day. It's 2 guys here for Memphis. I'm going to keep this fairly short. We have John Conchar ruled in and Vince Williams ruled out. The 2 guys are at the high end and the low end for me here, as my camera just completely loses focus. That's okay. We're looking at the sheet anyway. There we go. Ja Morant, 9,100 is my high price guy. Just way too cheap for what he's doing at the moment. Miami are fairly tough, but not really at the point guard positions. It's going to be a fast game as well. So I love Ja Morant here at 9,100, one of my favorite plays of the day. Field goal attempts, above 20 field goal attempts in all of the last 4 games is what we love to see. His DK scoring has well outperformed this price. The other guys in the middle there, it's your Desmond Baines, Jaren Jackson Jr.'s. I just feel that they are appropriately priced or in bad matchups versus Miami. Zach Edey, though, at 4,500 is a pinata play at the lower end of the scale. Yo-yo scorer, tough matchup. You can take flings at Edey if you like. He does have some pretty high upside, as you can see there. Let's go through these scores the last 5 games. 31-16, 39-8, 45. Which Edey are we going to get? Probably, if you don't plug him in, you'll get the 40s, and if you plug him in, you'll get the 8 or the 16. But yeah, it's tough to work out with Zach Edey. Pinata play only. Miami Heat on a back-to-back here, playing today on the Wednesday. We have, at the moment on the Wednesday, at the time of recording, Alec Burks, Davion Mitchell ruled in. We have Duncan Robinson, Andrew Wiggins, Nikola Jovic, and Kevin Love all ruled out on the Wednesday. Assuming that not much changes here, I would like to keep an eye on the Robinson news. I don't believe Wiggins is coming back in this little spate of games for Miami, but I would definitely be watching what happens with Duncan Robinson for this game. Tyler Hero in an absolutely beautiful spot here, 9K. That's his highest price since January, but it's a smash spot versus Memphis guards. This should be the floor. We do have options all around this price point. We have Ja already mentioned at 9,100. He's just way too cheap. Tyler Hero would be your flip side contrarian play on the other side of the ball at 9K in a great matchup. Pace up versus Memphis. At the guard spots, Pele Larson, 4,400. We have to watch news here. If Wiggins, I don't think Wiggins is coming back in this game. If Duncan Robinson comes in, I'm probably not interested in Larson, but he has got 30 minutes in the last 2 games. As always, Spoelstra's lineups can be very frustrating, and it could be that as soon as you plug this guy in, he plays 12 minutes. Very difficult to work out those wings for Miami. Watch the ins, especially Duncan Robinson. Davion Mitchell, here is another excellent spot versus Memphis at the point guard position, 4,800 for Davion. It's another safe floor, low upside, shouldn't burn you kind of play if you have to land there. The last game of the day, it's the Warriors taking on the Lakers in Los Angeles. Very much the marquee matchup of the day. It's going to be one of the faster games as well. Both teams on back-to-backs, but they are the Thursday, Friday back-to-backs for this Thursday game. I'm not looking at too much here on the Warriors side of the ball. Draymond, appropriately priced. I am only partly interested in Brandon Pajemski, who has been a yo-yo 6,300. The other guy, Jimmy Butler, was listed at 8,500 as well, and I believe that's just appropriately priced too. I will have shots at Brandon Podds here. He is a pinata play at 6,300. He has been an absolute yo-yo, but he has also had some poor shooting games. He has some upside here at 6,300 if you have to land there in that mid-price range in the guard spots. Steph Curry, 9,400, $400 price jump jump after dropping 95 DK points versus Memphis. Do you mind? Look, it's not so much that for me. I don't chase very often. I just love this price for Steph Curry at 9,400 versus the Lakers at point guard, who are currently and recently and lately the number one point guard spot to target, and that is largely due to Luka being there, not being the best defender. You set some good pick and rolls, and it is all over in that point guard spot. So Steph Curry, 9,400. Love that spot for him versus the Lakers here. Moving on to Los Angeles, LeBron is probable. That's about it. All worth mentioning here on the injury report. Luka and LeBron. So let's start with LeBron, a $10,000 price tag, 59, 51, and 82 DK points versus Golden State this season. My preference here is actually Luka, but I'm mentioning LeBron first because sometimes we just can't get to that high 11,000s price tag, and we do have an 80-point game on the books here for LeBron versus Golden State previously, and that was in the last one. So 10K if you can't get to Luka is absolutely fine for me. Luka himself, probably my favorite play of the day, alongside Ja Morant at his price tag, which just seems too cheap at the moment. But yeah, Luka Doncic versus Golden State. This is going to be a high ownership game for Luka Doncic. If you want to play away from him, I totally respect it and get it for your GPP lineups. But we love to see him dip under 12K at 11.9, even though it is only just under 12K. 11.9 is a great price for Luka. 94 DK points versus Golden State earlier this season. Yeah, he was in a Dallas uniform that night. But still, it just shows the potential that he does have against this Warriors lineup. I love to see that price. Take some stabs at Luka if you like. 94 and 54 are his history DK scoring this season versus Golden State. It's very hard to ignore. The low price guy for the Lakers, I only want to take stabs at Gabe Vincent, who's had a couple of mid-20s minutes games. 3,600 is your pinata play for the Lakers. Gabe Vincent, 6 games done. Favorite plays of the day. It's that Wendell Carter Jr. matchup versus the Washington center spot. It's also the same thing for Brook Lopez versus the Philly center spot. Quentin Grimes at 9,100, I want to say, could have a day out versus Milwaukee. Randall and Gobert are the two guys I like for mini versus Brooklyn. And back the other way, it's Tyrese Martin at that small forward position versus Minnesota. The two Portland guys, Denny Avdia and Shaden Sharp, taking on Toronto. And back the other way, RJ Barrett taking on Portland, and that is only if Barnes sits. The last 4 guys, high price guys here. Ja Morant taking on Miami, Hero taking on Memphis. I probably prefer, it's very hard to split those two for me, honestly. I think you could play either or both in that game. Then the last game of the day, marquee matchup, Steph Curry, smash spot versus the Lakers at point guard, and Luka versus Golden State Warriors. 11.9's a high price tag. We see the history. It was a 94-point DK game. Can he get there again? He may. It's also worth, I've left LeBron off there. I should have probably left him in at 10K versus Golden State in that marquee game. Thanks, guys. We're getting close to the end of the season. That's a wrap for Snack Size DFS for April the 3rd. Please like and subscribe to the Old Man Squad Network. Please drop some comments in the YouTube video. We'd love to hear your suggestions. I love your support. It's building and building and building here. Getting close to the end, but we will be back next season, of course. You can find me on the socials at Terrain72. This has been Brenton Eckersley for Snack Size DFS 4.
And that's, of course, Brenton Eckersley. Welcome back to the conclusion of the program. I'm Dan Vespers for Old Man Squad. Please hit that subscribe button on the way out, especially right now. I know that full season fantasy has wound down, but DFS rolls right through the playoffs, which last until June, people. There's 2 months left to play DFS, even if there's only a couple of days left to play full season fantasy. So hit that subscribe button. Plus, we got all kinds of amazing stuff coming up here at Old Man Squad Fantasy Basketball as we continue to add amazing talent to our YouTube offering. So again, subscribe however you're taking in the content. Hit that like button on the way out if you're watching on YouTube, and a 5-star review goes a long way. Follow Brenton on social media at Terrain72. I am Dan Vespers, the founder of Old Man Squad. Thank you all so much for watching as always, and we'll see you for the next one. So long for now.